Iraq has set an ambitious goal to increase non-oil revenues to 20% of its national income. This is urgently important because the IMF will not support Iraq's increase in currency value until it has more non-oil annual revenue. If you remember, Iraq almost went bankrupt during the pandemic when oil revenue went to nearly zero. The reason why they're using the 3-0 notes to educate the Iraqi citizens is not just because they will coexist with the new small category notes, but they will look exactly like the old notes. The only difference is the zeros will be gone. Multiple forex traders have reported that they have had to sign new terms of agreements focusing on currency exchange values. I find that very interesting, and believe it is a key thing to do before they flip the switch. CBI unveils new banknote security features. This also should bring something to your attention. If they are adding new features to the currently existing banknotes without changing the denomination, deleting the zeros or exchange rate, that should tell you that there is no rush for them to do anything about the exchange rate. If they knew they were about to go ahead and release new banknotes with the 3 zeros missing and change the exchange rate, there wouldn't be any need to go ahead and add security features to the old notes, because there would be no reason for it. If you're going to get rid of the old notes, why take the time to put new security features on there? See what I'm saying? That should be an indicator to you that they are not in any rush to redenominate and change the exchange rate. Sorry as usual to pee in your Wheaties, but that's just the truth. Question: is it essential to have your lawyer present when you make the exchange? What type of lawyer should I take with me? Tax lawyer, a domestic lawyer, a lawyer that's involved in things that you are going to be involved in? In general, a tax lawyer is probably what I would recommend. President of the World Economic Forum: Iraq is one of the important countries in the Middle East and the world. In Iraq they're going to be using the dinar, that's all there is to it. If they change the value of their currency, it's likely they're going to be using the dinar because it's going to be a strong currency, and it's relatively likely to lead to a basket of currencies, just like everybody else is relative to a basket of currencies in some shape or form. The whole thing falls on one thing: the amendment budget readings. If we're waiting for a float or a basket, what is it that's going to give us the float or the basket? The amendments. If they pass the amendment, all hell is going to break loose, but this time in a good way. Question: do you think Trump knows when we'll RV? Marks: I do know someone from inside the new administration who has absolutely every reason to be up to speed because of where they are at. They are saying that the value change in currencies is on the absolute top of their list. It was reassuring to hear that from a political source that this is a priority. Also, this person is a currency holder. This revaluation would fix a lot of problems. I cannot say more without getting into lots of trouble. The CBI is being very cautious to see how the US Trump administration is going to play out. Remember that Iraq is ditching the dollar, but Trump has vowed to keep the USD as the reserve currency around the world. Remember, Iraq just de-dollarized and would love to get off the petrodollar and find another peg or basket of currencies to peg to. I know for a fact the IMF has been working on this new basket of 6 currencies for this purpose. Will the US Treasury under the Trump administration accept it? Let's see how this plays out. There is new sheriff in town, and his name is Donald Trump. What will his policy be towards the Iraqi financial system? 4 years have passed since his last administration, and there has been way too much progress in the banking and financial reforms to turn back to the days of the prior Trump administration laden with sanctions. I am told by my CBI contact that al-Sudani is hoping for an invite to visit the new president in Washington, or better yet have him come to Iraq. One of the key things in a monetary policy when they go to revalue a country is they have high security. They want to tamp down currency manipulation. They want to stamp out the black market. That's all part of the process. Article quote: any attempt to manufacture, Possess or pass on fake banknotes is a criminal act that is severely punished by law, calling for the delivery of any fake banknotes to the police and to the Central Bank of Iraq. I heard this from several different groups. No taxes on our exchange. We are starting to hear more and more logistics on this thing. There is progress and movement happening. I'm not trying to give you a date. Iraq can only change their rate on a Sunday. The rate will change on what is their Sunday morning before or by the time their banks open. Their banks open Sunday morning 8 a.m. their time. Here's the unknown variable in this. Does Iraq need something like a holiday to legitimately suspend or pause their currency auction on a Sunday, allowing them to change the rate? That's a question none of us can answer. We don't know. The federal government denied Thursday, January 23, 2025, what was announced by the spokesman for the Kurdistan Regional Government, regarding submitting a proposal contrary to the amendment of the Council of Ministers in the Financial Budget Law to the House of Representatives. Government spokesman Bassem Alawadi said in a statement, based on the government's keenness on transparency and informing citizens of the progress of its executive work, especially with regard to the budget issue, which is a fundamental pillar for implementing the commitments contained in the government program, we affirm the government's commitment to the amendments sent to the House of Representatives regarding the budget law, which takes into account the supreme national interest. And we stress that the government's representative in the House of Representatives stressed the need not to make any other amendments to the budget law that contradict the texts submitted by the Council of Ministers. He added, at the same time, we deny what was stated in the statement of the spokesman for the Kurdistan Regional Government of Iraq, and we are surprised by what was stated in it regarding the claim that the representative of the federal government in the House of Representatives obstructed the amendment of the article related to the procedures for resuming oil exports from the region. Alawadi stressed the importance of the Kurdistan Regional Government's commitment to the provisions of the Federal General Budget Law, including the delivery of financial revenues, whether oil or non-oil, to the federal government, in accordance with what is stipulated in the law and the decision of the federal court. He explained that adherence to these procedures is a necessary step to resolve the problems related to this file and enhance cooperation between the two sides, and the federal government hopes that the House of Representatives will expedite the approval of the amendment in accordance with the text approved by the Council of Ministers, for the benefit of Iraq, all of